I'm Corey Christine and I'm KB Chronicles here on YouTube. And a few weeks ago, Carrie Harlan got in touch with me and asked if I would be willing to do a piece for her November issue of her online magazine, Paper Planning, and of course I said yes. So when I was trying to come up with an idea of what I could possibly talk to you guys about, I went through comments and questions that I've gotten on my Instagram or on my YouTube channel. And the most asked question that I get is, how do I incorporate homeschooling into mainstream planners like Erin Condren, Inkwell Press, things like that. So being a homeschooling mom myself, I've been homeschooling for 5 years, I decided that that would be what I would tackle. So what I did is I pulled all the planners that I have together, and it's a lot, and decided that I would show you guys how you can incorporate tracking for homeschool in your planner and still have room to plan for the things that you have to do every day. I know not everybody is a homeschooling mom and not everybody is a stay-at-home mom, but what I'm hoping is some of these tips and tricks of thinking outside the box with these traditional planners will help you come up with new ways to track things that you need to keep track of. We also talk about DIY fish on Etsy for A5 inserts as well, and I hope that something sparks your interest or inspires you to try something different. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to get in touch with me either on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram. I also have an email, kbchronicles@gmail.com. I hope you guys have a wonderful November. Happy planning. Okay, hi. So like I mentioned in my intro, one of the biggest questions that I get asked through my YouTube channel or my Instagram account, or when people just email me from one of those places, is how do you incorporate homeschooling into these popular planners and still have room to plan for yourself and still have just room to do what you want to do with your planner. Some people really like sticker kits and some people really like to be minimal. Some people want to be able to journal some. All of these things are kind of hard if you're trying to track a lot of different things, especially if you're a homeschooling mom. So what I thought would be fun is to walk through some of these popular planners. This is Erin Condren, and this is DIY Fish, which is an Etsy shop, and I absolutely love her planners for A5, or her inserts, I'm sorry. And then also we're gonna go over Inkwell Press. So what my plan is I'm going to take you through these planners and show you different ways that you can track things and still have room to make plans for yourself. Hopefully you guys will get some ideas. I know not everybody who watches this is going to be a homeschooling mom, but hopefully you'll see maybe a way you could do something differently that you're trying to track in your planner. And that's my goal. So let's get started. I'm going to do Erin Condren first because I know this is one of the more popular ones, and you see a lot about it on Facebook and you see a lot about it in the planner community overall. This is the hourly planner, and what I did is I just chose a week in January, and for most of them I think it was January the 2nd. That's typically a pretty dead week for most people, so playing with it and making some mock spreads seemed like a good idea because I know I won't really have a lot going on during this time. So for this planner, what I did is I tried to go very minimal. And what I did was I used washi tape to denote everything that I had going on a regular week. So obviously this week in real life, I may not have all of this. I know I won't have community day that day, but I wanted to show you what a typical week looked like. So for this, what I did was I put everything in with a washi strip to mark the times, to block out that I had activities. Now, if you have watched any of my videos, I'm very, very big into color coding. So that's why everything is a different color. But you could easily just take your favorite skinny washi or any washi and mark things that you know that regularly occur in your week. I personally do not have to write down that this is community day because every Monday is community day. So I could take a wider washi or something really pretty just to mark that I have something going on at that time. I know what's going on, so I really don't have to write it in, but I wanted to write it in so that you guys could see what I'm talking about. So I forgot my train of thought. Okay, so what I was wanting to do was just show you there's a lot of different ways you could denote this. And so a typical Monday for us is community day. We pick up our groceries on the way home, and then I have 3 things that I have to do every Monday. I'm a Challenge A director for Classical Conversations, so I have to send out my parent email. I have to check my son who's in Challenge B, kind of see where his work is at, and put new grammar up. So these are 3 things that I do every single Monday. So I listed them at the bottom in the little section that doesn't have time. On Tuesdays, we typically have that day open, so I leave it that way. On Wednesdays, we have class, and if I'm gonna run errands, it tends to be in this time frame because we're out during that time. So this is a Planner Kate sticker that I put in just to kind of show I could put a little to-do list here, or a shopping list, or errands, anything I wanted to use this for. So this layout is incredibly customizable, easy to do. You can do stickers, you could do, Planner Kate also has stickers like this. This is from Planner Kate, but then there's also these kind, which easily could be added as well. So if I wanted to say, in between, let's say in between our church runs, I wanted to have time to do something, you know, I'm not sure what exactly. I'm gonna move the sticker up just a little bit. But if I wanted to maybe run some errands, or I wanted to get some specific things done before we got back to church, you could easily customize this by just sticking that in and adding a list. So it's very customizable. You can do it with stickers, you could do it without stickers. Now what I did in my sidebar over here is, this is where I track my homeschool. So, let's see if I can zoom you guys in a little bit. So I list out the subjects that we need to do. I want my kids do math, reading, and handwriting. They do their piano practice. We try to read aloud every day and work on our presentations for class on Mondays. So one of the ways that I do this is I fill it in this way. And then I use the stamp set from Studio L2E called Track It Boxes. And I usually use the boxes right here. But I can stamp in between each of these topics, and I'll have a checklist that's horizontal. So if we're gonna work Tuesday through Friday, then I'm gonna mark Tuesday through Friday in here with maybe a highlighter or something, and then I can check them off as we do them. In these particular curriculums, it's basically you just do the next lesson, so I don't really need to write down what lesson they're on. I just need to keep track that we're doing them every day. So that's how I incorporate homeschool. And then down here, I turned this into a personal checklist for what I need to do for my class. So this is how I was able to kind of, back you guys back out a little bit. This is how I was able to incorporate my homeschool planning. But as you can see, I still have plenty of room to do whatever it is that I personally need to do here. So it doesn't, the homeschooling aspect of it doesn't dictate what I'm gonna do in my planner. I'm still able to plan and do things that I'd like to do. So this is the vertical planner. Now with the horizontal planner, it's a little bit harder for me because I am a vertical planner. My brain works vertically. I prefer that layout. So what I did here, in this particular planner, what I do is I use it for journal keeping. So I So I have pictures, and then I have handwriting, you know, I handwrite in what I want about each day. So for January, I pulled a week, the same week, and I played with it a little bit. I don't have a lot of horizontal stickers, so I wasn't able to incorporate that a lot, but I did find some really cool ideas on YouTube that I wanted to share. So if you're not typically a horizontal planner, some things that you can do is if you divide this up, you'll notice you have 3 boxes. So very much like the vertical planner in Erin Condren, you could still use it in that way. I watched a video on the channel Ashley TIA, which stands for That Is All. She uses Inkwell Press, but the idea is the same. She does the horizontal planning for them. But on days that she has appointments, she divides her box, and then she can use this as a to-do. And in the Erin Condren, or I'm sorry, in the Inkwell Press, this side is divided into daily boxes, which I'm gonna show you in a second. So you could do that as well here. You could put your appointments on one side, you can do your to-do list here, and then what I came up with, and the idea really kind of comes from the Inkwell Press, divide this into the number of things you want to track daily, and then I can just write in what we do each day for homeschooling. These are the 3 things that we do every day, Tuesday through Friday. So this is what I wrote. But for you, it could be meal planning, it could be weather tracking, it could be chores that you want to get done, it could be activities that a child has, a project that you or your child has in school or that your husband has. However it works for you, whatever it is that you need to track, this last box, you can really create whatever you want. There's no lines. So you can really kind of create what you need out of it. Now these stickers here are for the vertical, but they're, as you can see, they almost fit perfectly. So if you wanted to put checklists and that was going to be your to-do list every day, you could easily do that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So when I do this, I usually just line it up with that gray line at the top there, and it fits perfect. And so if I wanted to have checklists all the way down, I could do that. It could be the things I want to accomplish that day. It could be the schoolwork that I want to do. However it is you want to do it. And with Planner Kate, these come in a ton of colors. So if you wanted everything in blue to be for your son and everything in pink was yours, or however you wanted to color code it. For me, everything school related is purple. So I could have a purple sheet of these, and everywhere that I put the box, I know that those are school things I need to accomplish. Does that make sense? So what I was hoping here, this is my weak spot in the sense that this is not how my brain functions. It's very hard for me to figure out how to make this work. But I could see how it would be very nice. Some people like to write the details and just what they have going on that day. They don't really need the lists, or they don't want a checklist. They just want to be able to look at the book and say, okay, these are the 3 things I have to do. And this could be a grateful box, a gratitude box, or a highlight box. There's so many things you can do with it, but for my purposes, I would use this as where I would track my homeschool. So I would just divide it up in however many boxes. I did one in 4, I did one in 3. I did this one without a ruler and this one with a ruler. So this one looks a little rough, but I just wanted to give you the option to see what I'm talking about. So this is another way that you could very easily track things. Now you'll notice that I only drew lines on a couple of days because Monday, this is all we do. So I'm not going to have a to-do list on Monday because we are in class all day. Tuesdays are open, Fridays are open. So typically what I have found on these days, you could use something, now this is a vertical, so I don't think it would fit. No, it won't, it's too long. But you could take a sticker like this and put it over here and make this just one really long to-do list. Like that's just things you want to accomplish that day. And I'll show you that in a minute with my inkwell press. But, so I think that's it with this one. It's one of those things that you have to figure out what it is you want to track and how you want to track it. And then this sticker here was a leftover sticker I had from a couple years ago when Planner Kate started doing Planner Kate started doing horizontal stickers. And these, I believe if you buy 3, you can totally take out the notes section. So it makes a sidebar for you like you have in the vertical, and you can choose. So for this one, I just filled it in as everything I need to do each week for Challenge A prep. And then I list everything. I look in my guide. Did I do everything for grammar? Yes, check it off. Did I do everything for composition? Yes, check it off. So I know these things need to be done this week. And I'm able to still track my homeschooling without totally taking over all of the space. So that is what I came up with for Erin Condren. Again, I did not have a vertical layout, but a lot of the tips that I had in the hourly could easily apply to the vertical. So that is Erin Condren. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to talk about A5 binders. Lots of people love their KikkiKs, love their Filofaxes. I am a huge Filofax fan myself. I collect the personals and the A5s. So I'm really a big fan of the original. So what I'm going to show you here is I had my Filofax set up for something else, but I wanted to talk to you guys about DIY Fish. DIY Fish is a shop on Etsy. Fish is a girl from Singapore who designs these inserts. When you go to Etsy, you order the inserts that you want, you download them, and then you print and cut all of your stuff yourself. I've personally found that it really wasn't that difficult to do, and I liked having the control and the ability to pick my paper and decide, how, because I like my fountain pens. I like to be able to write in my stuff. So I like the fact that I could choose the paper, I could plan it, and I could do all of that. For me personally, I kind of got into a rut with it because we had a particularly busy summer and I kept falling behind. I wasn't keeping up with getting them cut and printed. And I just it sort of snowballed into I didn't have all of a sudden September came and I had no planner. And I was just really struggling with what to do. Now, if you're on the Facebook group for DIY Fish, there are some wonderful women who you can send your files to, and for a fee, they will print, cut, punch, and send them to you ready to use. So, and from everybody I've ever heard that's used these people to do this, have had excellent and wonderful results. Personally, I didn't find it that hard to do myself, but like I said, we had just it was like the perfect storm of crazy busy, and I never had the time to get it done. And so I was like, oh, well, this week I'll just make a list. And then this week turned into a couple weeks, and then it turned into a month. And here I am now, just kind of lost as to what to do. But I still love this system. So I wanted to kind of show you how I did homeschool planning in this system. It's a little bit different, but one of the things I really like about it is you have your monthly layout and a monthly chart, and then this is your calendar, and the calendar is vertical. So instead of going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's Monday through Sunday this way. So these are all the Mondays for the month, all the Tuesdays, all the Wednesdays, all the Thursdays, so forth and so on. One of the things that I love about the system is when you have it in your planner, you open it and you can see your month. Then you have a weekly, I guess it's a weekly flap for each week in the month. And when you open that flap, everything lines up. So as you see, you have your week here and your month here. So this particular week is this week right here. We had nothing on Monday. We had a school meeting on that Tuesday. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was an open house. And then music lessons, dance class. My husband was off and getting ready for vacation. Those kind of things. So as you can see, I think this is really cool. You open your week, you can compare it to your month. You've got everything right there in front of you. Then when you flip, we'll just pick a random day. Hopefully I don't have anything bad on here. Well, here, we'll pick this one because it's a little bit blank. And this was when we were getting ready to go to Disney. So then when you open your day, you can see your day, your week, your month. So what I did in here is I had all of my days, and I have day per 2 page. So you had this side, which has times here, and I would draw in my times, what I was doing at what time, and that kind of stuff. And this was the day we left for Disney. So at the end of the day, we were going to be heading out. I have a to-do list that I stamped in. I had a list of call, email, and text, my social media, and my time tracker. So this is all the stuff that I kept on this day. And then over here on the second side, it won't slide, on your other page was just an extra day. I would decorate it with washi. Sometimes I would fill this up, and sometimes it was blank like it was here. Basically, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget paperwork and the bands for the trip, and I went that route, okay? So that's how my week went. Then at the end of the week, I would have a section here, and then this was how I did my homeschool. So this was a different set. These were version 2.2 day on 2 page back here. This is 3.2 week on 1 page, and then you had a note, kind of a blank space, and then you had a weekly chart here. And what I did with that is I would usually put a strip of washi here, and I would just divide by subject what we had going on. And then, so everything for math would be in one section, everything for reading, everything for memory work. I would just divide the sections. And then over here were any notes for my kids. And I have a video on my channel about how to edit these, so you can go back. So these are the top 3 things I wanted to do every day. This was for Henry and Lily, which are my younger 2 kids. And then I would have a checklist, kind of like what we did in the Erin Condrin. Let me open that back up. That was probably good so I can compare. So in the Erin Condrin, I put the list over here at the side. In the DIY Fish, they have a weekly chart. So in this weekly chart, I would put when we did Bible study, when we did math, when we did that, and I would just go through and check off so that I could look at my week and say, okay, we did 4 math lessons. Great, we're on track. We did some copy work and handwriting. All right, we're on track. And then here's where I could write down specifics. So if I wanted to say we copied a certain Bible verse, I would put the Bible verse that we wrote, or I could put it over here in the section for handwriting. Does that make sense? So that's how I originally did homeschooling. On this side, or in here, that's how I was planning it. And in here, I would do one for myself as a lesson plan. And then I would keep notes on my son over here and what he was getting done and had a weekly chart for him. So basically, I just printed the same week twice and I did them back to back so that I had one for my younger kids, one for myself, and one for my son, just to keep everything. And then we would have a notes page on the back. This is great and it worked wonderfully because it had everything in one place. But the problem I ran into is I wasn't always going to this page. Now this was actually before school had started for us. I was kind of just practicing getting my pages organized. So that's why they're blank. But it was just, I was finding that either I was too much here, too little here. I wasn't always flipping back. I just wasn't always utilizing the whole thing. Again, I didn't think it was that difficult to print and cut. And like I said, there's women who will do it for you and send them to you. I think it's a great system. The best thing about this system, I personally think, is that you can see everything in one layout, which I love. And I'm still trying to figure out how to reconcile everything together. But when I'm really busy and I feel, now here you see there's lots of, I do washi decoration and all my washi for my color coding. But I found that with this, it was just, I think for me, it was just too much and I wasn't able to keep up with everything. So I had to take a step back. I think that when you get that planner slump, which is what I kind of feel like I was in, it's the best thing that you can do sometimes is take a break. And then I think the next thing is to try and push yourself to try something different, which is what I did with Inkwell Press. And that's what we're going to cover next. So give me 1 second. Okay, now we're going to talk about the last group of planners, and these are Inkwell Press. I discovered Inkwell Press about a year ago. I tried her A5 inserts last year, which were in the flex style, so the horizontal like this. And it just, I could not get it to work for me. I could not get my brain wrapped around it. I had not found a lot of inspiration for the flex to make it work for me. So I gave them away. I racked them to somebody and went back to the Erin Condren and DIY fish, which is what I've been doing for most of 2016. But for 2017, I'm going back to Inkwell Press. I'm trying it again. I know that this is the Flex design and I will be using this as my journal, and this is the classic. So vertical planning. I have been able to figure out how, which I've shown you with my Erin Condren, but I figured out how to do everything in this one. But I figured out a way to combine both worlds in the A5 inserts, because this year Tanya had the classic release and the Flex release. To me, for homeschool planning, the Flex does make a lot of sense. If I have those boxes to track things in and I can make those little checklists, which I'm going to show you in a second, the Flex makes sense for me for homeschool, but not for personal. But to me, what's most important is to have one book. I know that if I have more than one, I will not keep up with what I need to keep up with. Now, with that being said, I do have a personal planner that has so much crafting inserts, but it is straight up the 2 weeks. I think it's a week on one page. Yeah, it's a week on one page, and the weeks are back to back to back. And I absolutely love having that for on the go. It has the month in the list format and it has the weeks on one page, and I really take that with me and I just write appointments. There's minimal stickers, not a lot of decoration. Now, I have played with kits in it, so I do play with kits that I've already purchased, but my goal for 2017 is going to be that it's really just pen and paper and that's it. But I will be showing you, I have plans for a video to kind of show you how you can plan in your personal planner and have some fun with some of these kits that come out for the big planners. But anyway, that's unrelated. So what I think I've been able to come up with my A5 is a way to combine the two styles of planning together and have it all in one book, have it all in one place, and have it easily accessible. So what I'm going to do first is go through these two planners, and then we're going to save the A5 for last. So with the classic, I did a couple things. I did a spread, I think it's here, okay, where I worked on this part of the list on the side. And this is where I kind of stumbled upon my idea. So with Inkwell Press, up here there's a weekly focus section. Well, in the weekly focus section, that's where I'm gonna do my personal things that I wanna keep up with. And I did this on the next page, I'll show you in a second. But for the homeschool, I'm doing it this way. So this is a sticker from Homeschool Plans, but I also have a stamp. And I'll show you that on the next page. I can stamp this in or make a sticker. And then I just wrote all the stuff that I want to do for school that week. I also included at the bottom a to-do list, and that's for things like cleaning out my bag, replenish supplies for homeschool stuff in their backpacks, what they need to take, and then their presentations for CC that we do each week. So I stumbled upon this, I did it, and I was like, okay, this is it, I figured it out. So I did a mock layout for that week that we will be going back to school. And let me move this planner out of the way because this isn't laying right on the screen so you can see it good. Okay, so then what I did is these have columns with no times, but I know that Community Day takes a big chunk of my time, so I put that there. And then as you can see, I have icons we have a cleaning lady who comes, we have laundry that's gonna be on those days. This is from Planning Made Perfect. And the little one is as well. This is from Stickers, Washi and More. It's a little trash bag. And then all of the other stickers came from SAS Plans. These were the old color layout, but I found some that worked in here. So what I did is I put stickers down for all the stuff and wrote in everything that I wanted to mark for the week. And then I was playing with these boxes. On Monday, here's the little to-do list that you saw in the Erin Condrin. And then this is the to-do list on Sundays. Now what I did differently in here was on this one, I did a lighter stamp and was able to just write over the top of what it was. Obviously you don't have to stamp. I just thought this was really fun. On the other side, I did small, this is Tiny Stamps, Big Ideas. And this one is from Studio L2E. So I did a smaller stamp and wrote next to it just to kind of see. And I could use a brighter color. Sorry, it's like I haven't filmed in a really long time. Am I gonna be able to focus? Ooh, there we go. So did it this way as well. So just wanted to be able to show you two different options. Obviously you don't have to stamp. If you know what you're gonna use your boxes for, just use them. But if you wanna be creative or you were wanting to kind of do something a little different, that's what I decided to do with it. Then I did on my to-do list on the side, I added the magnifying glass, and I used this for my personal stuff. So I want to read every day, making sure I'm doing my challenge prep. I want to try to do one-to-one dates with my kiddos. I want to try to do random acts of kindness for my husband and having my quiet time with God. Those are my focus. That's what I want to focus on every week and make sure I'm doing that. These little hexagons are numbered. So these are my top 5 things I want to work on for me. Then at the bottom, I stamped this using Atier Dreams stamp set, and this is Studio L2E the rest of the way down. I just wrote in my homeschool notes, wrote in what I wanted to track, and then at the bottom, I stamped in Don't Forget, used some heart stickers from SAS Plans, and this is gonna be like the little to-do list for school stuff each week. Now, if I need more space, if I need a to-do list or I need something, I can put those in where I need them. And then one of the things somebody said to me was, well, what about your weekly to-do list? What about the stuff that you just need to get done during the week, but it's not on a certain day? For me personally, if I make a to-do list on Tuesday, since Tuesday is one of my blank days, Tuesdays and Fridays is when I get the most stuff done. But let's say I make a list and I don't get everything done. It's still here, it's still where I see it, and if I want to get it done this week, I can always go back and check it off. So for me, being able to utilize this for homeschool planning and have homeschool and my life in one book works for me. Now, over here, obviously I'm tracking homeschool stuff, but you could track anything. You could track exercise. You could track how often did you eat at home this week. You could track if your kids worked on a project for school, if they read 3 times a week. I know my nephew, he's in 2nd grade and he has to read 3 nights a week for 20 minutes at a time. So, you know, his mom could put him reading 20 minutes. You know, did he do that 3 times? You know, what was the goal? How many times did you take your lunch? How many no spend? You know, you can really use this for anything. But for me, the most thing I'm asked about is homeschool planning. So I kind of focus this video in that way. But I want you guys to see that I think it's when you look at things in different and you hear different ideas that something might click for something you're trying to do. So I hope that's what I'm doing here, is just giving you some ideas of some different ways to track things. So that is the classic layout doing the homeschool stuff. Is I would have it over here, and then in here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I would have their math lessons and what they did for those 3 days. And then Saturday and Sunday are kind of whatever I need them for. And then I would use my checklist up here. So that's the classic. So now we're going to talk about the flex. The flex is exactly like I just realized I didn't have a thing in here, are exactly like the horizontal, except in here, Tanya has put the daily boxes. So in here, if I was going to plan everything, which is not my goal, but if I was going to, what I would do is I would utilize these magic dots. Tanya has these dots that help you to divide your column or your section in half. And what I could do is on, you know, community day, write my 3 to-dos. For school, if I don't have anything going on, I could use a to-do list. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. And then I could do my schoolwork for math, reading, and writing in these boxes like I'd planned. And then down here is how let's see. So you have there we go, weekly focus. I don't know why that's not staying in focus. Okay, weekly focus could be your personal to-do list. And then over here could be your to-do list for your kids or school or homeschool, whatever it is you need this one for. And I'm going to show you in just a second. Because my plan is to utilize this as a journal next year, I didn't want to stamp in it, but I did get the quarterly planner. Now the quarterly planner is the A5 size. As you can see, it's smaller, but it is flexed layout. So I've been playing this for a couple of weeks and I feel this was my best layout that I came up with. So this is what I want to show you as in how you could utilize it for both. So up here we have community day, and that's, you know, it's Halloween. I use the icons over here under the dates for laundry day and the cleaning day and all that kind of stuff. I did for TV and I did for trash. And then here's my to-do list. And then I'm going to do the schoolwork in here, okay? Then I have my weekend, my planner time. Over here would be the pack my bags, plan my lunch, and pick out my clothes. And then what I did at the bottom is I created a to-do list for myself. And this is all stamped in with Studio L2E stamps. And then this one over here was for the kiddos. So this would be the homeschool stuff: memory work, instrument practice, are we on schedule, and activities. And then reading for me, challenge prep, quiet time, and prayer. So I did that. Now in here would be where I would have my math, my reading, my writing, all that. I included memory work over here because I'm not tracking that in here. So I want to make sure if we're doing our memory work. Then on days where I had appointments, I divided it. I put my to-do list checklist right here, and then added down here, you know, I have some birthdays coming up. I have errands. I have a birthday party, movies coming out that I want to see. So that's how I did it. Now I got some of these ideas from Ashley TIA on YouTube. And TIA means that is all. She does a beauty and lifestyle channel, and she has a great playlist on planners, specifically the Inkwell Press Flex with A5 inserts. So I got a lot of ideas from her, and it kind of inspired me. So I've talked about it a little bit. I kind of got into a planner rut, and the challenge I instigated to myself is I decided I wanted to give Inkwell Press another try next year, and I was struggling with finding out where to go. So the challenge for me is for October, November, and December, I have to use this book. This is it. So I'm kind of creating my own one book July in the middle of October, but I'm going to use this for the rest of the year, and I'm forcing myself to be outside my comfort zone and try to make this work for me as best I can. and I'm learning a lot about myself. So for example, this week, I stamped everything in here for the homeschool, but I used a contrasting color and I did not like that. I feel it's way too busy. So the next week I had already stamped it. I knew I didn't like it. When I got to November, I decided, okay, I'm gonna leave this blank till I get here. I did some hexagons up here for my important to-dos, but I'm thinking what I do like, which I figured out in here, was when I did the stamping and it was really light down here and I could write over it. So I think what I'm gonna try is doing the stamping, because I do like to do that. I just find it's fun, but maybe do a closer color so that I can just write over it and maybe it won't feel so busy like it did here. So when you do these things and force yourself to kind of push yourself outside the box, I think you learn a little bit about yourself. You learn about what you like, what you don't like, and you figure out different ways to make things work. So this is kind of what I would do in here if I was using the bound for something like this. And I found that with homeschool tracking, I really like this. I like the idea of putting down what they did in the 3 subjects, but having space to write notes, which led me to my next planner that I'm going to show you. So I think what I'm trying to decide is if I'm going to use my A5 planner or if I'm going to use the classic bound next year. This is what my struggle. So what I want to show you is what I came up with here. I learned that in the Flex, I do like having that for homeschool planning and journaling. So I tried to figure out a way, well, how can I bring these together? Well, Inkwell Press this year released classic A5 inserts in addition to the Flex inserts that they had in 2016. So I'm gonna put them together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this page because it has some personal stuff on it. Okay, so when you start in my planner, you have your dividers that you get from Inkwell Press, and all that's up here really is my goal planning pages and my important dates. So that's got some personal stuff. So we're just gonna start here. What I did is I planned out a section. I did a mock spread. I'm gonna take a couple things out of the way. The first thing you're gonna notice is in here there are 6 columns as opposed to 8. What they did that they had in the classic bound is Saturday and Sunday each had their own column, which now they do not, and they had to take away the weekly focus and the notes column. So I've lost a lot of space. That's where I was going to track my homeschool. So I came up with a couple of ways to work around that. This is what I'm planning to use for just my planning. So these boxes will be my top 3 things I want to get done. I'm going to track weather at the top, things that are important at the top. My husband's work schedule will be a gray washi or some gray stickers that I've purchased. If they're at the bottom, he's working a night shift. If they're at the top, it's a day shift. And this will just be for me personally. As you can see, I inserted a sticker here for a to-do list. This is from SAS Plans. This is from Sweet Quai Design, CAD. These are Stickers, Washi, and More, Planner Kate, SAS Plans, and then the stamps are from RTA Dreams. Yes. So that's what I have come up with to do so far. Now, I use my Today marker from Ashley Lee Designs. Love these. And then I thought I'm going to take some inserts from Yellow Paper House. I did the large grid and the dot grid. And then I also have these daily dockets from Inkwell Press. So what I figured would happen is if I'm having a particularly rough week, I need that to-do list, I need that extra space to write, or I have a particularly crazy day that I must have extra space, I can use any of these options to give me an extra page to do with as I see fit. So if I use the daily docket page, I would put the date, I would write the morning schedule, if appointments, whatever I had, if there was extra tasks, whatever it was I needed, I could punch it and insert it. If I only need it for the one day, I can toss it when I'm done, or I can keep it. The other option would be to use one of these blank pages and insert them in the same way. I could stamp the date at the top. I could make it a notes page, whatever it is that I need. I did the dots because in there, in the inserts, Tanya used dots. Now hers are hexagons, these are not, but it kind of matched. And then I like grid paper, so I prefer grid to lined. And so either of these could be inserted quickly, or I could use one of these from Inkwell Press. And then what I would do if I just needed a to-do list was I would take one of the inserts from Yellow Paper House, cut it in half, and then you could take the other side and punch it. I snipped it so I could pull it in and out. But then I could make this a to-do list. If I needed that extra writing space, I was worried about having it, or I needed it, I can add it. Does that make sense? So I'm kind of putting that column back in if I need it. And then when you shut it, you have that. So what I did is I put through May in here, and then I did the extras section and the notes section of the planner. And then what I thought I would do, and I can kind of show you this part. So then there will be a divider here, and don't ask me why I didn't put the divider in, I forgot. This would be the flex inserts. So, I mean, obviously I don't need to fill this out twice, but I wanted to show you what it looked like. So this is the front page of the planner, and then you have important dates, and then you have your goals. And what I'm actually doing here is I spoke with a shop, Luckety on Etsy, and Katie was super nice to help me out with this. I'm gonna do in here for us, since this is gonna be my school planner, she's gonna print up some stickers for me so I can change these to each of our names, and I'm gonna do goals, specific school goals for all of us, and break them down. So this is what I'm gonna do here, so I don't feel that I'm being repetitive in the planner. This goals is going to be used specifically for homeschool. Does that make sense? And then I think for my important dates, I'm gonna keep a reading log of what books we read aloud and what books I personally read, just for myself. So I thought I would do that. And then it's gonna have the calendars and stuff. I'm not planning on utilizing these calendars like I would my regular calendar in the front, but I can write things in here. I can go through my son's Challenge B guide and write due dates for things. He has mock trial coming up. I can put in the dates for that. I mean, it's really gonna be on both planners, but this could be where I write those things down messy. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I know it's not gonna be my main calendar. I'm not gonna do the calendar twice. But then when you get into January, I did kind of play with the week a little bit. So what I think I would do is I would put my top 3 for me. This is going to be in my main planner, but I think I would write it here for emphasis. And then this would be Community Day. Now, I think what I'll do, what I've really liked, is stamping Community Day across, because these are the exact same size. So this is something I did, and I colored it in with colored pencil. I will definitely stamp here, because that's all we do. Make it Community Day, and maybe anything special we do. For example, this day we're dressing up in our favorite book characters. So if we were doing something special, I would write that in here. Does that make sense? But I don't have to write that I need to pick up groceries or take out the trash, which is what these icons mean, because that's not, or the cleaning lady, because that wouldn't go here. So my goal is that I would say here, so for example, in reading, we do 100 easy lessons, and for math, we're doing lesson 27. I just chose one. And then for handwriting, we're doing copy work, and this week we chose to copy something out of the Bible. So then over here, I would write anything specific. If one of my kids had a specific problem, I might jot that here, or put as a goal of something we need to work on next week. Does that make sense? That's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. We'll have a homeschool focused week, and that would be practicing the piano, you know, reading our books, doing our memory work, all of that. I would put notes here for anything for the week. But in here I would journal, you know, today we worked on history in their notebook. And that's what we did. So I could look back at the week and see what was accomplished and what wasn't accomplished, what was a good week, what wasn't a good week. I'd have a record of the 3 subjects that we deem most important, what we did. And then the weekend, I'm not sure what I will do with this. I may do something with it. I may not. It may just stay blank. But then Ashley Lee Designs also made me a homeschool divider. So when I close my planner, not to the front page. When I close my planner, I can easily flip to the homeschool or to today. I'm really torn. I don't know if I will do this or if I'm going to do this, but I think I have two really good options. That's my goal anyway. So that's everything I have about the Inkwell press. Okay guys, I just wanted to take a second and tell you that I hope that you found this helpful. My goal was to maybe give you some different ways to think about the planners that you're using, and some different ways to track things and some different things you can do with the planner to make it really fit for you. I hope it was helpful. I hope you got at least one good idea. I wanted to remind everybody that I have a YouTube channel, KB Chronicles, spelled with a K, and I have a Instagram and an email, kbchronicles@gmail, and my Instagram is just KB Chronicles. You can contact me any of those ways. I have some content on my YouTube channel. New content is coming. I kind of had to take a little bit of a break, but I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things in November. If there's anything I can do for you or something specific you want to know, please let me know. Ask your questions. I have enough planners to play with, so if you have something specific that you're trying to figure out how to do, maybe I can help you out. I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for checking out Paper Planning Magazine, and if there's ever anything I can do, please let me know. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.